Today, we'll be doing an oil change on a 2022 Honda Navi. We'll be using the factory racing parts oil change kit. The kit will come with 1 quart of our fully synthetic 10W40 oil and a new crush washer. The tools that we'll need for this job are a 17mm socket for our oil filter screen cover, a 12mm socket for our oil drain plug, an extension, and a ratchet. And a drain pan and rags are always handy as well. The first step will be to remove our drain bolt using our 12mm socket and extension. And once you get the drain bolt off of there, you want to make sure that we have the old drain bolt washer still attached and that it didn't get stuck to the engine. Then we'll just go ahead and let that drain, and we'll move on to getting our oil filter screen out. Now we're going to use our 17mm socket and extension to remove the oil screen. We are on the left side of the bike now. And once we get that screen loose, you want to be careful removing it because it will be under spring tension. So you just want to make sure you keep some pressure on there so it doesn't fly off. I do have a small drain pan underneath of this, but if you do drain the oil first, you shouldn't have any oil coming out of this hole. But you still just want to have some rags handy just in case. And then you want to pull out the oil screen either with your fingers or pliers. And then you want to go ahead and get that cleaned off with some brake clean or compressed air. It is normal to see some debris on the screen. You may see little bits of gasket material or some metal shavings or maybe even some slivers of metal. All things are normal, especially if this is the first oil change. So once we get that cleaned up, we're just going to go ahead and stick that back in there. Once you get that filter back in place, it's time to put the cover and the spring on. You also want to make sure that the O-ring is still nicely seated inside that cover there. And then when putting the cover on, you will be fighting against that spring. You can see I even struggle with it here for a minute. Even pressure on the back side of the cover is the best way to do it. So I grab the socket and the extension there to help guide it on. So once you get that started in place, then you can go ahead and grab the ratchet and tighten that down. Alright, we're ready to replace our drain bolt now, making sure they get the new drain bolt washer on there. I always like to point out that a drain bolt washer serves 2 purposes. It does help seal the drain bolt because it is a soft aluminum metal, but it also acts as a torque cushion. So as you're tightening down the drain bolt with your 12mm socket, you'll start to feel that washer collapse underneath the drain bolt. And when you start to feel that washer collapse, that's usually a good stopping point on torquing your drain bolt. Now it's time to add our oil. This bike will take approximately 0.7 of a quart. And if you don't have a funnel, don't worry, the kit will actually come with a paper funnel. When it comes to checking the oil, the dipstick just needs to be set in there, not screwed in. Now we're going to actually start this bike to let the oil circulate. It's not completely necessary, and I don't expect the oil to drop, but it's just a good idea to do anytime you're changing oil in something. So we're going to do one last final oil check, and the oil's still right where it needs to be at that top line. So now we're done. So there you have it, an oil change on a 2022 Honda Navi using the factory racing parts oil change kit. Thanks for watching.